Shelby Holmes doesn't waste time.
Tell me everything that's happened.
Shelby ordered Tamara.
And don't leave a single detail out.
Tamara wrung her light brown hands in her lap as she started to fill us in.
There's not much to say. I woke up this morning and Daisy was just gone. She sleeps in bed with me, but at some point in the night, she'll go downstairs. So when I woke up and she wasn't there, I didn't think anything of it. But when I went downstairs, she didn't come to greet me. I called her, but she didn't come. And she always comes. Then we all looked around the apartment and couldn't find her. At first I thought maybe she was locked in a closet, but we looked in all the closets. We looked everywhere. Dad called security and the doorman hadn't seen her since I walked her last night before bed. It's like she just vanished.
While I should have been paying attention to the details of the case, I kept getting caught up in the fact that Tamara lived in a building with an elevator, doorman, and security. Plus, I didn't need Shelby to tell me that this car and personal driver belonged to her family.
I can't believe it.
Tamara's voice wavered.
The show's in 3 days. Everybody knows that Daisy's the favorite, but I can't believe someone would take her away from me.
Shelby did need to fill me in that the show Tamara kept talking about was the Manhattan Kennel Club's annual dog show. Daisy came in second last year in the toy breed category. Toy breed? I nodded like I understood any of that.
Does Daisy have any enemies?
Shelby asked. I had to stop myself from laughing. How could a dog have enemies?
Not at all. She's the sweetest dog in the whole world. Although...
Shelby's posture straightened.
Although what? Maybe it's nothing.
Tamara bit her lip.
In the last 6 months, Daisy's taken titles away from Mr. Wiggles, who always used to win. But I don't think Mr. Wiggles' owner even knows where we live, let alone be able to break into our apartment. Never underestimate an underdog,
Shelby said with a confident nod. A laugh escaped my throat, and I started coughing to cover it up. Underdog? Mr. Wiggles? Really? What had I gotten myself into? The car turned as we headed toward a park that seemed to stretch for miles and miles. I didn't know the city that well yet, but I knew it had to be Central Park. The driver made another turn and pulled up alongside a tall stone building with 2 towers.
We're here,
Tamara said as she exited the car. A doorman greeted her as he opened the intricate glass doors that led us into a lobby with marble floors, wood paneling, and mural walls. I felt like we were on the set of some movie about super rich people back in the 1940s. But people actually lived like this, for real. My grandma once came to Kentucky to visit us. We took a day trip to Nashville since it was the closest big city. Grandma took Mom and me to a fancy hotel for tea. At the time, I couldn't imagine staying even a night at such a nice place, let alone living every single day in such a ridiculously fancy building.
Any word have yet?
Tamara asked the man at the security desk, who was wearing the same gray and red uniform as the doorman. He shook his head solemnly. Nothing, but don't you worry, Miss Lacey. We'll find your Daisy. Another man tipped his cap as he hit the elevator button for Tamara. Once we got inside, Shelby started talking in a whisper.
Tamara, I need you to inform your family and whoever else we meet that we are familiar acquaintances. I can't have people know I'm here to investigate. This way, they'll be more natural around me and I can study them freely. But nobody in my family would do this. They all love Daisy,
Tamara protested. The elevator came to a stop on the 24th floor. Once we were inside the apartment, I stopped in my tracks. Although the building appeared to be old, Tamara's apartment was the exact opposite. It was like I stepped into some futuristic home. Everything was made of glass, white marble, shiny silver, or leather. Every item looked new, expensive, and extremely breakable. I was afraid to walk around for fear that I would accidentally smash one of the large glass vases overflowing with flowers that seemed to be on every surface. I had never seen anything like it.
You're home!
A voice cried out. A woman who had the same big brown eyes as Tamara hugged her and said,
I know you're upset, but don't go running off like that, okay? We can't have any more members of the family go missing. I'm sorry, Mom.
Tamara hugged her back.
I went to find some friends. Hi, Miss Lacey.
Shelby's voice was a lot louder than normal.
Yes, we're friends. Great friends. Allow me to introduce myself, since I have not yet had the good fortune to make your acquaintance. I'm Shelby Holmes. I attend school with Tamara.
She then laughed really hard as if someone had told a joke. Was this Shelby being calm undercover? If so, we were in trouble. Ah, I'm John Watson, I said to distract everybody from Shelby's jittery behavior, and shook Mrs. Lacey's hand like a normal person would do. Nice to meet you, ma'am. You have a nice home.
Thank you, John.
Mrs. Lacey looked around the apartment nonchalantly.
Why, yes, it's rather lovely.
Shelby put her arm around Tamara, who in turn placed her head in her hand. probably wondering what she was thinking, asking Shelby over.
Well done.
Mrs. Lacey tilted her head at Shelby, perhaps curious as to why Tamara would have chosen this tense time to bring home a new friend, especially one acting so uncomfortably.
It's nice to meet you both. Thank you for being here for Tamara. We're all at a loss about what could have possibly happened to our Daisy.
Mrs. Lacey looked like a model, and more like Tamara's older sister than her mom. Every hair was in place, and she had on about 14 different pieces of jewelry and sky-high heels. How can girls walk in those things? I felt out of place in a ratty t-shirt and shorts.
Has Dad called the cops yet?
Tamara asked, getting us back to the pressing matter of the missing dog.
Not yet, sweetheart.
She wrapped her arms around her daughter.
Ugh, don't call the cops.
Shelby groaned.
I mean, what are the cops going to do? Am I right?
She then snorted so loudly I wanted to crawl into a hole for her. Mrs. Lacey nodded at Shelby slowly.
Tamara, can I speak with you in private?
Mrs. Lacey and Tamara went into a room that was off the large living room where we were standing. Shelby sat down on a leather couch while I remained standing, as I was too afraid I would stain something. Are you okay? I asked.
Of course, Watson, old chum.
Old chum? Who talks like that? You seem a little nervous, I admitted. While I really didn't know her well, nervous didn't seem like her style. Overly confident maybe, but not nervous.
I do?
Shelby slouched down on the couch.
I'm usually much better undercover, but I've never had to be someone's friend before.
Just be like how you are with your real friends.
Right.
She responded quietly. Of course. The nervous laughter, the awkward body movements. Shelby had difficulty pretending to be a fake friend because she didn't have a lot of real friends. Maybe none at all. Sure, everybody in the neighborhood was excited to see her, but they were all adults. Shelby had mentioned how her contemporaries didn't appreciate her talents. Maybe she didn't have any friends her own age? Was deductive reasoning contagious? Because I so had this thing down. You know, I proceeded cautiously, I have lots of experience making new friends. One of the talents you get moving around so much. Maybe I can help you? Shelby tilted her chin up.
I don't need any help. I'm fine. On my own. Thank you very much.
Listen, Shelby, I began, but there was a scream accompanied by a loud clattering noise that came from down the hallway, followed by the sound of a barking dog.